Yes, so it looks like we are live on Facebook. I am here with John Rondi for our Mortgage Monday. Hi, John.
Hello, how we doing, buddy?
Doing really well. It's 1 o'clock, and I just wanted to get us started. And as I mentioned to you, if there's people out on Facebook watching, to just comment with questions so I can, relay them over to you as they come in, if they come in.
Yeah, let's go. Bring the questions on.
All
Come
right.
on. I'm
Yes.
Hey,
getting tired of
Johnny.
talking to Matt. And oh, here's Mary Beth just came on. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be tired of talking to us.
No.
You should
No,
love
I didn't.
talking to us.
No, I said Matt. I said tired of talking to Matt. Not you.
Never Mary Beth.
Never me.
Yeah, so
And we were commenting.
Is that your backyard, or is that your backyard? Are you on the water over there?
Yeah. I told Matt he's got to get outside. He's got to get off that couch, go on the front porch. There's no chance that with the sun out like this today that I wasn't going to come outside. So it's.
You look great. You look great.
Well,
Why don't you get started with telling us what's going on in your
Yeah.
world? I mean, let us know what's going on in the mortgage industry, and then we could ask you some questions.
Well, the mortgage industry is as exciting as it's been, which is not very. I mean, for those who are inside, it's challenging and certainly keeps your heart pumping. Those outside, it's not sexy. The mortgage business is not sexy. There's nothing, really glamorous about it. We just are again, continually embracing and dealing with the changes, right? So it's from every which way you can imagine. The government agencies setting rules and guideline changes, as well as for those who are totally responsible for or enabling in their financing. Can you hear me okay, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
So the correspondent lending world has changed. Correspondent lending is really starting to latch down on a lot of the options that all of us are going to have. And even though I'm a bank and we lend our own money, we went through some of that before, we portfolio lend, great for us. Cash is king. You have your own money, you have power. We still like selling the service. We still like having options where if I lend a $300,000 loan, that I can sell it to Fannie Mae. And in those instances, you get to Fannie Mae through a correspondent lender, ABC, big bank. Okay, we all know who the big banks are. Well, the big banks have correspondent lending that take loans from us. And in the majority share, when you deal with a broker or a mortgage banker, that's their only lifeline, the correspondent lending. And Friday, big bank, don't have to use names, there's only a handful of out of there that are really relevant, has shut off their correspondent lending. And that's going to trickle down real fast to a segment of the market. And it's going to show its face in the weeks to follow. And you'll see what I mean. And without, saying specifically to where and to who, it's just going to be real relevant. So,
what would you anticipate
just gotta let that
happening?
shake out a little bit.
All right, did you freeze?
Well, I mean, I may have said this on Monday. I'm not sure if I shared it with you. There's, a total segment of financing right now as it relates to refinances. Actually, I think we did talk about this. That's been taken out of play. Cash out refinances are just really, there's no home for them. And when there's no home for a product, meaning the market, and there's no buyer for it, it sits on the shelf, or the premium and the yield changes for that product. And so in that segment, rates go up. And it's a way of, again, controlling capacity. Now, when you further and you shut off as a correspondent lender, and you're saying, we're not ready to do any more business, we don't want the risk of it, sorry, the products are no longer available, that again compresses the market of where these loans are going to end up. And until another person, I say people, it's a group of people, right? It's Wall Street, it's secondary market people. When they decide that they want to put their toe into that segment, they set the price. And they set the price, meaning they're going to be buying these mortgage-backed securities. So we went through this. We went through this in 2008. The shakeout was vicious because it literally just was a faucet that shut off. And there were a lot of smaller companies that just couldn't survive and couldn't withstand. And then there were, again, a lot of mid-sized companies that had to realign and, do some adjusting internally with regards to how they staff, how they hold themselves in the long term accountable to their clients, right? How you service them, how you from servicing. Again, I mean taking a loan application, making sure you can close the loan, and then be in a position to actually service where you receive a payment back each month. And you will find, and I've already experienced firsthand in the past 30 days, a lender that basically said to a borrower, sorry, we can't do this, meaning they were all set to go. They were not able to fund the loan. All right, now that's a real example, and that unfortunately is going to rear its head again. It's the inevitable, because if there's no correspondent lending, if there's no money in the form of liquidity as a lender, you lose some of what you would have found to be your business model. You will lose that, and so there's going to be some more changes, and we want to all be careful, I guess, with what that means intimately for one another. But it's again something that's going to happen more, unfortunately.
Well, so tell us, how is a new loan originating? How have you had in the last week, which is the purpose of doing this weekly too, is just to see week by week what
Right.
is changing in your world. Have you seen less applications come in, more people go to a contract close?
Sure.
Give us a status update.
Yeah. All right. So two things. Yeah, less applications.
Oh, and I
There-
heard
there's-
Shiny's still working. She said she's still working.
oh
I
yeah,
also said
yeah.
she
Shiny's
was
good.
watching our video. She's
Yeah,
watching the
she
video.
was. She said, I just want to let you know I'm still working. We're going to have her
Yeah,
join
yeah.
us in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we should. She's still doing her thing, but yeah, originations are off, as you would compare to the pace that was set, 2 weeks ago. But even that being said, we're still busy. I mean, I would never suggest that we're an industry right now that's suffering somehow, right? We're the lucky ones.
I
So,
think so.
yeah, we are. We're the lucky ones. What would
I
also,
think
though,
it's
is
a
a
short, I mean,
larger impact.
it's a short-term pain, and some people are having a challenge with the now and the next couple of weeks or possibly months. I do think though that our industry is one of the only industries that is really going to come out kind of with a lot of fruit and
Yeah.
little
Lot of opportunity.
damage.
Well, you know what's interesting. So if I have 10 people that are approved and in queue and have been actively looking for homes 30 days ago, okay, 10, I would say to you there's probably one or two of those same 10 that are actively looking now. That's a major drop off, and I'm not over exaggerating it. Well,
No.
that's 80% drop off, right? So that's real, and some of it just has to do with people don't want to go out, right? Because they don't know what to expect, or they're pumping the brakes because of their own personal financial situation, whether someone's on furlough or being displaced altogether. Some of the government um, assistance has also made this a little easier for people to say, oh, I can make more money now when I collect. So guess
Yeah.
what? They're collecting. And guess what? You can't get a mortgage if you're collecting unless you show. So it's the double-edged sword
John,
that way.
I would bet you'd have some misconception with that also. I would bet you some people would think, yeah, but I have income coming in. That shouldn't knock
Right.
me out.
Right. Yeah, well, you can't get financing when you have unemployment, temporary income. So unless it's seasonal, unless you've established it over, because of the line of work that you're in. But however, those are some real life scenarios. I've had two purchases just last week. I was going to say, I'm not going to say who it is because one of them's out of the office, but they're like, I just found out I lost my job. What am I going to do? And I'm like, well, we got to rework the loan. We've got to figure out how to make it work. If you want it to work, I'll figure it out with you. We'll come to some sort of terms on that. Then again, here's someone who's ready to close in maybe the next 3 weeks and just finds us out. Well, fortunately, there's two incomes in that scenario. But in some scenarios, if you're the only wage earner, well, what do? You don't have any option. All right. So, we have to, I think, remind ourselves that we're not alone. We do have each other, especially in a time like this. What's going to matter are the organizations that have the right alignment. And, I've said this and professed this with you guys. You guys have the right alignment. You have each other. You have a very strong infrastructure. That's going to carry people through those darker days of not knowing what to do with themselves. So we're the same way. My team has experience and doesn't mean we're the smartest. And I've said it before, but experience trumps a lot of things. Skill trumps a lot of other enthusiasm that someone may have. So we're going to keep doing what we do on our side, have our Zoom calls now and changing the way we do some of the ordinary lines of communication are going to change, but we'll just stay strong together and put a dent into the business here.
Have you had some successful closings over the last week or so?
Yeah, the closings that have happened over the past couple of weeks or so, those were loans that were already teed up and ready to go. The more interesting, like if we have this conversation again in a month, that'll be interesting to see how that plays through. The originations are up, are going to occur, but we got to see what's going to. I talked to an appraiser today. And
let's talk about that.
I need an interior inspection. Fannie Mae is allowing for waivers. Fannie Mae is allowing for some waivers in certain instances, and in others you can't get it. So this person needs an interior inspection and doesn't want to let the guy into the house. And the appraiser is like, well, but I can't do it if I can't get into the house. And we're like, yeah, so that is an obstacle. And that's something that is someone's got to give, right? The borrower in this case has to understand that they have to consider what flexible options there might be. But if that doesn't happen, then the deal doesn't go anywhere, right? So, and appraisers are swamped, so they're doing everything they can to just keep the pace. And again, everything's kind of, this is the new norm. This is how it goes.
What we are seeing is I have been listening to our agents and to agents not outside of our office. A lot of vacant properties are what is coming on and getting multiple offers and going under contract. So we are seeing vacant properties, a market for vacant properties right now.
Yeah. Listen, the activity's still there. I'm still doing the pre-approval letters. I know offers are going in. So there is a market. Hopefully no one takes that any other way, but in the most sincere way, that you can kind of categorize it. There's plenty to do, but what you have in front of you is just very different, and people don't kind of understand that they've got to evolve and change this workflow a little bit, and I'll tell you something very interesting. I send out text messages every weekend, every Saturday morning, and it'll be a variety of things. One will be just a simple rate sheet. The other will be, hey, just let me know if you need me. I'm around all weekend. Somehow those people that I want to stay in contact with, I want to be consistent with, right? I sent around this past Saturday, let's say I sent 10 text messages, and with it was the offer of wanting to do a Skype call, right? I think I got one response. And I'm okay with the fact that I didn't get 10 responses, but I was surprised I didn't get more than one. And so that tells me it's not that the people I'm texting aren't random people, right? These are people in your office. These are people in other places that I've done business with for years, and they didn't respond. Now, I know they got the text, right? Who doesn't get a text, especially a Saturday morning? You're going to go through, you're going to get your text. But maybe they're just hesitant because they don't know how to do that. Maybe they don't want to do that. I don't know the answer, but for myself and my own edification, I'm going to find out because I'm going to follow up with each one of them, right?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I mean, I felt a little this Saturday specifically, I felt a little bit like I just wanted to disconnect after a couple of weeks of just being on and having to show up differently. And so
Sure.
then you have some people that are just sitting home that maybe it's finally sunk in that they're stir crazy and maybe they needed to get out. So but to your point
Maybe.
is we can make a
Yeah.
lot of assumptions as to why somebody didn't answer a phone or didn't answer, but if you don't follow up and ask,
Yep.
hey, I'm just curious, were you busy? Are you taking a
That's
little
it.
break? You
Yep.
won't really know what's going on with the mind of the consumer.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. There's no, I don't take insult to it, right? I just use
No,
it as a
no, I just love
barometer,
that you'll go
right?
deeper and you'll
That's,
actually do the follow up
yeah,
to
absolutely.
dig into
Sure.
that.
Yeah. Because,
Well, because
yeah, because from my
we have
vantage,
to find out what's going on in our people's minds right now.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
depression is something that we have to be, concerned about, and we do
Yep.
need to be checking in with people, giving them hope that
Yep.
we're going to be on the other end of this sooner
Yep.
than we
Yep.
expect, and then we'll be looking back and saying, how come we didn't take that time and spend a little extra
Yeah.
time here or there with our
Yeah.
family or in a book?
Right. Right. That's all. I mean, it's just,
We'll never be able to get this time back.
nope, it's customizing now to the need of the audience. And, my audience are the realtors. Tell me how I can help you. If there's something I can do, I want to be able to do it. If you want me to join in on a virtual, open house tour, okay, let me
Right?
know. Those,
Hey, there you go.
there's plenty, yeah, there's plenty of things that we can do. And it's just going to take a little courage and a little creativity. And, look at, and my generation, I'm still clunky with technology. I don't know how to make all this stuff work. Thank goodness you text me or email me the Zoom call. So all I have to do is click. Great, because I don't know on the other side. I don't have a Zoom account.
Oh goodness,
I
I've had to
know it's
learn
not
a
hard.
lot with this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I know it's not
definitely
hard.
stretched us, but if we're not
Yeah,
growing, we're dying, and you know
yeah.
that.
Yep, yep. So all good. All right. So what else for you guys? I'm doing all the talking here. You guys talked out or what? What's
No,
happening?
we just want to hear it. We want to hear from you. We just want to know what's going on.
Oh, all right. Well, that's
Yeah.
it. It's a beautiful day. I got to be honest with you. At some point, before my day is over, I'm getting outside. I'm going to wash my car. That's a
Nice.
guarantee. So
Ooh, that's a good
be nice.
idea.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask you,
Well,
what are some of the things you're doing with some of this time now that you are at home more? What are some of the things you're doing to
yeah.
change your day around?
Well, you know what? It's man. I again. I'm so lucky that I'm busy. My day flies.
Yeah.
I don't have
Yeah.
time in the better part of whatever it's been now. I don't know. Are we going on 3 weeks? Is
I think
this
this is week
the
3.
lockdown? All right. So in 3 weeks, there's been opportunities that I would normally jump in the car and go to the car wash or go get.
Yeah.
I don't even know if car washes are open, right?
Yeah.
Are they?
I
I have
don't
no
think they're
idea.
essential.
But no, they're not essential. But I could still get a hose out and I could
Yeah.
still wash it and wipe it down. And I haven't even done that. But today I plan on doing something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and just because number one, it's I enjoy
Gorgeous.
doing it, but moreover than anything, yeah, moreover than anything, I haven't had the time to do some of those things, and life has just been this Groundhog's Day, right? Every
Yeah.
day I sit behind a computer.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are latching onto the computer because it's a
Yeah.
safety net and it's almost like an umbilical cord.
Hmm.
So you got to cut the cord, whatever time in the day you say you're going to stop, you got to stop. And
Yeah.
so
Well,
find
no,
like
I think to your,
go,
I
go
think,
for that walk.
yeah, no, I think to your point, that's very true. I mean, I think for Mary Beth and I mean, I don't want to speak for Mary Beth, but I think our days have been very busy and very packed, like
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
more so than like, and I think because you're on the computer so much, it feels like you're almost locked in more. Because at the office, like if I were to go on an appointment, I'm leaving my office space, I'm
yeah,
going into another room. I feel very like
yeah, yeah.
this is my whole day, and if you're not careful, then it
Right.
extends into the evening, end of the morning. So to
Mhm.
your point, you have to
Well,
break it up.
again, listen. I don't know how much more TikTok I can watch. I don't know how much
You
more of
kept
this
you teenage kids home.
other stuff. Yeah, it's like you might the routine is very different now, and but it's like anything else. It's habitual. These are the things that you wind up doing because it's the hamster on the wheel. Oh, if I'm moving, I'm going somewhere, right? If I'm moving, well, no, not really, not all the time. So you've got to detach yourself from this machine and have some of these conversations with family and friends and professionals, working professionals, and the like.
Awesome.
So
So I have a quote here. It says well, it's not actually a quote, it's scripture. It's from Proverbs 1:5. And it says, a wise man will hear and increase learning. And I think right now we are at absolute time of learning to be our best self in a new environment. I think next week, what I would love to do, if you're okay with that, I'm going to ask the ALC to join us for our mortgage conversations, a few of them, and we'll kind of go live with them as well, if that's okay.
Have a little more variety.
Yeah, I think listen, guys, I think that what you're doing with me and the other guys is great. But let's, I don't know if it's overload. I don't know if you're hearing a lot of the same comments. We're all three different personalities, so you're going to get three different vantage points. And so I would like to freshen that up and get another deeper dive into another venue, another audience. So because a big part of me, quite honestly, I believe in the power of suggestion. I believe in, well, what's out in the universe, whatever you put out, you get back in. I've always felt that way, and I profess in my own, my own ways that's how I'm going to conduct my life. When we talk about all the mortgage stuff that I just shared with you, I don't want to bring it to my head anymore. It comes out of my lips, but I don't want to hear it. It's white noise. I'm not going to be able to control it. You're not going to be able to control it. Yeah, we're having conversation, and we want to be informative to one another, and we don't want to be ignorant and put our heads in the sand either. So there's a balance act. I want to talk about what we're doing about alignment and going forward, and how we can leverage one another, and who's willing to be more courageous and more impactful, and who's going to get on to some of these other calls that are creative. I want to consider you guys to consider that, and I'm here and I'll do anything I can. But the truth is, mortgages are not sexy. I said that, right? It's pretty boring stuff. But what is exciting is the aspect of selling together. What is invigorating is the thought of throwing something out there just as a conceptual idea and actually doing it instead of saying, well, I'll try. Okay, you could try or you could do. I'd rather let's do some things. So I'm glad you brought that up, and I'll let you think about where that falls into place.
Yeah, we got you. Don't worry, we always got you.
All right.
Matt, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, John, for our Mortgage Monday segment. We will see you next Monday. And to Mary Beth's point, we will, probably have an ALC member on to, really, kind of ask some questions, see where their head's at, see how we can bounce back and forth. And next week, every week, you're in a different location. So I'll be curious to see where John Rondi is next week.
Matt, get some sun. Us fair-skinned guys need some sun.
Awesome.
I should get out there then.
What's that?
I said I should get out there as well.
Next week, what? You just froze. You froze up.
I should get out there as well.
Yeah. You froze up again. What's going on here?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll check you out next Monday.
I'll see you guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.